Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and today's review, which is out Friday morning UK time, which can only mean one thing when it comes down to this channel, and it is that I'm reviewing a brand new club. And as you will already know from clicking on this video, it is this, the Cobra Darkspeed X driver. Now, I've managed to pick one of these up to give a go for this channel because I love Cobra. I played the LGDX when it first came out. The Aerojet I've tried for the channel. I still do have an Aerojet driver. Actually, I still have a Cobra LTDX driver as well. And for me, I just wanted to get my hands on it and give it a go because when it comes down to Cobra, they produce some great things. But if you're looking in that brand new market, they tend to be a little bit cheaper than going for obviously the QI from TaylorMade or the Ping G430 Max 10K. They come in a little bit cheaper, and personally, from preference and experience over the years, they can be just as good. So that's why I picked it up. It's currently in my bag at the moment. I will be doing a video in the near future where I'll be putting this against my Stealth 2, which I played all last year, and another driver actually from 2016 that potentially could get into my bag for this year. And just going to be putting it against this as well. At the moment, I did a what's in the bag. This was the club that's in there. This is the one that's going down to all the courses at the moment. I played with a competition with it over the weekend. I'm still going to do that video just to make sure I'm making the right decision. So do remember to subscribe to the channel, guys, if you want to see that, and obviously you don't want to miss out. And also remember to subscribe to the channel for weekly ACS golf reviews that come out every Sunday, unless obviously they're brand new ones, and they'll come out on the Friday. So remember to hit the subscribe and hit that bell icon. Now, as always with these videos, what I'm going to do is we're going to have a closer look at the club. Then we'll come back here, talk about all the technology. Then we're actually going to get down to the course / range to show you a few of the hits with this bad boy, throw some figures at you, and then come back here for the ACS golf scale. And then after that, I will talk about why potentially and why I believe this is going to be my driver for this year. Okay, let's have a closer look at this club. So there you go, and a closer look at this club. And I love it. I really do like that whole black scheme through it. I like the little details, obviously with the X, where it's obviously blue, the LS is all black, and then you have that Max, which is actually red. Love the shape as well. Beautiful. Exactly what Cobra is saying, all about aerodynamics. And what Cobra have done, which is a little bit different from this year compared to all the other competitors, is everyone's talking about 10K MOI, forgiveness, 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 forgiveness. Well, Cobra is trying to stick with speed, aerodynamics. Let's get that ball to go further, which is quite refreshing, because they've tried to separate themselves a bit from the market. Don't get me wrong, they've still obviously trying to improve forgiveness, but they're still trying to get that little bit more distance. So quite good from them, to be honest, and quite exciting. Now, let's go into all the technology that is in this club. I'm going to read it off Cobra's website themselves because I do love reading from these, their websites, because all this spiel is always great. So first thing they have said with the Darkspeed, which I will say a lot of people are sort of like, Darkspeed, what's the point of that? They're saying that the whole point of Darkspeed is nothing is quicker than darkness. With the idea that light of speed, no black holes. I think they're going down that route. And I think it's all right. I definitely prefer it over the QI10, Quest for Inertia and the AI Smoke. So I quite like the name, to be fair, compared to everything else that's come out this year. So let's go straight into all the technology. So first off, they're like out of this world speed. Darkspeed is accumulation of attention to detail and precise integration of our most advanced technologies using space-grade materials and the expertise of aerospace engineers to help develop the fastest driver we've ever built. Fantastic. Exactly what you want. So designed by aerospace engineers. So featuring groundbreaking aerodynamic shaping, the Darkspeed X driver allows you to harness extraordinary speed and distance through a more streamlined design. And you can tell that, to be fair. There it is. Does the streamlined design really matter? I've spoken about streamline when I looked at the Aerojet LS, actually, the review for that. I think if you're swinging really, really fast, and I think it does, if you've got an average sort of swing or, a little bit slower, then maybe not. I mean, I normally swing around 97, 98 miles per hour. Am I going to notice the aerodynamics difference of this? Maybe not. I don't necessarily think I'm going to be swinging fast enough to notice it, but you can't complain. Obviously, they're giving it a go, so fair enough. Moving on, they got blend of forgiveness and spin control. So you've got a back weight, which is accompanied by a second forward weight, allowing for additional spin tuning control, which I love, and I'm really happy they brought this feature back. Actually, they had it in the F9 and I think a few other models as well, but not in the LTDX and not in the Aerojet, where the idea is you put this 12-gram weight at the back, which I've actually got at this setting now, helps increase launch, helps MOI, and also helps to get that ball in the air, which for me, with my attack angle, is perfect. But if you need to get more spin, you want a lower ball flight, less spin, you want a lower ball flight as well, you can move this 12-gram to the front and then move this lighter one, which is 3 grams, to the back, which is great. It means, you can harness it, which really drew me to this driver, to be fair, because for me, one major thing I'm going to be doing this year is trying to increase my club head speed. So to have a driver where I, when I'm swinging at this pace I am at the moment, not really too worried about the spin, I'm not ballooning things in the air, but, I still need a little bit of spin to help get up into the air. Having the weight at the back's perfect. But when I increase that swing speed, and naturally when you increase your swing speed, the spin goes up as well because you're hitting that ball faster. I can then move it to the front to lower that spin down. So that's one thing that drew me about this, and one thing that I'm happy they brought back, which is very, very cool. And then we go into the ultimate energy transfer. So you got this power bridge here. So a lower and more forward positioning of the suspended power bridge. So there you go. This is the reason why they stopped doing the actual, when the top of the head, when they started doing this hot face here and they did the milled face. They actually stopped doing that because that was the LTDX version, by the way, I just showed you, because the idea of this power bridge, they didn't need that forgiveness of the CNC milled anymore. So going back into it, a lower and more forward positioning of the suspended power bridge unleashes even faster ball speed and minimizes spin for improved energy transfer through the ball. Perfect, can't complain, really happy with that. Moving on, so now we have dynamic speed, where we have a 10% power shell L cup face. So this is the face here. They got some ridges behind it. Creates a more robust distance, while an updated hot face design delivers efficiency, speed, and spin across the cup face. So they're still talking about forgiveness. Still talking about obviously keeping the speed the same, well, as best they can across the face. So, again, great. And just going into the different drivers, so I'm looking at this one, so the X, which I've reviewed, which I'm reviewing now, sorry for you guys, which I'm reviewing now. And so just going into the spiel about all three drivers, if you're thinking about looking at the other two, I personally haven't tested the other two, and I think I'll probably try and get my hands on the LS in the future and test that. But personally for me, I probably won't test the Max just because my shape's already a draw and the Max is for that player who's looking to reduce the slice and get that sort of power draw. So going into Darkspeed X driver, which I've got and I feel is the more traditional driver for sort of the masses, I would say. So they say here, best for better players to seasoned amateurs seeking fast ball speeds with more forgiveness in a back-weighted traditional size profile. There we go. So profile, best combination of speed and forgiveness. Launch mid, I would definitely say I found that. Spin low, but you can obviously move that weight to the back to increase the spin a little bit more. Shot shape, neutral, yes. Forgiveness high, so still a forgiving driver. And then you can have it in 9 degrees, 10.5 degrees, and 12 degrees. And either side of that with adjustability with the shafts, you can go up by 1.5 and come down by 1.5 degrees as well, and change the lie angle. So put a draw setting in it if you want to close that club face. Then we move on to the Darkspeed LS driver. So best for the better players with faster swing speed seeking maximum speed and workability in a low launching and lower spinning head. Profile max speed, launch low, spin low, neutral to fade shape, which is normally with a sort of, a better players club, which the LS is. Forgiveness medium. The reviews I've seen is, I don't even think the forgiveness is really medium, to be honest. The reviews I've watched on the LS version is you need to be hitting it in the middle of the face, and it's an absolute rocket ship, but it needs to be in the middle of the face. And then you could get an 8-degree head, 9-degree head, 10.5-degree head, which again speaks better player, because you can't get that 12-degree head. And then the Darkspeed Max driver. So the highest MOI design is best suited for players looking for maximum forgiveness and accuracy. The back weight setting provides the most stability, while the heel setting allows for draw tuning for straight drive. So unlike this weight here, and with the LS, by the way, I will say you have a weight here, and then you have 2 weights here. And then with the Max, you have a weight here, and then you have a weight here down near the heel, with the idea is obviously that's going to help close their club face and get that draw. And so profile, max accuracy and forgiveness, launch high, spin mid, shot shape, neutral short and forgiveness extreme. And then you can pick it up in 9 degrees, 10.5 degrees and 12 degrees. So there you go. Those are the other models as well when it comes down to the Darkspeed range. But again, all similar technology in there, just more weights, and the head shapes do change as well, with the LS being the most aerodynamic, then obviously this one, and then obviously the Max, where the weight's really pushed down the back as much as possible to help with forgiveness, MOI and launch. Okay, so there you go. Now, let's get down to the course actually, because I've got some viewings from the course. So I'll show you a few shots there in the range, and I'll talk through the figures, and then we'll come back here for the ACS golf scale. All right, see you in a bit.
So here are a couple of shots down at Hersham and then a few at the range. And this was actually the first shot I hit with the driver after coming back from holiday and a few weeks off. And all right, the height wasn't great, but I hit that right in the middle of the club, and I was in the middle of the fairway. So really happy with that. And I do love the sound that this Cobra makes, which you heard there when I struck it. Anyway, let's get into those figures. So now on average with me, I'm looking for total distance around 250 yards, ball speed at about 150 miles per hour, and swing speed around 97, 98 miles per hour. So the figures with this driver, I had a carry of 217 yards, which is a little bit down. Total distance though 254 yards, so above the average, which is fantastic. Ball speed 151 miles per hour, again above the average. Launch angle 10, which is a little bit low for me. Height only 58, again a little bit low. But swing speed 100 miles per hour. So overall, really happy with these results. The longest that I hit was one that was 266 total yards, 155 miles per hour ball speed. I did have a few carries that were 230 and above. The longest carry actually I managed was 240 yards. So there's just a few that were quite short carry wise, which did bring down that average. But overall, really, really happy with the performance of this driver.
So what can I say? This thing is a bomber. It really is for me. I was getting some really good distance. As I mentioned, I want that average around, that sort of 250 yards, and I was getting 254 on average. Longest on the day at the range was 266 yards. Had a few good carries as well, and I got that launch angle right, 237 total yards. Carry was the longest on that point. Ball speed 151 miles per hour on average. Again, that's above the 150 I'm looking for. So really happy with the fastest 155. So really good. Launch angle 10 degrees. Not great. Really for me, I'll be looking at sort of 12, 13 to really maximize distance. But again, with the spin profile I was managed to get with this, I was still getting some really good results. And especially for coming into summer here in the UK. I mean, the sun is coming through into this room right now while I'm doing this review. And so therefore, do I need that carry in the summer? Not really too much. Well, not really worried about it, to be fair, because I will get the rollout. And this means it will probably roll even further. And I get probably on the course, the ranges might be saying 266 on the course. That hit, I'm probably expecting it to be more 270 plus. So really, really happy with that. And swing speed, surprisingly as well, was higher than what I normally do. Normally around that 98 miles per hour. On average, I was around 100 miles per hour with this. So you know, maybe there is something in these aerodynamics. So there you go. Now let's get into the Golf's ACS Golf scale. Remember, we've got distance, feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. So let's go straight into the distance. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. Don't get me wrong, it is not the longest one out there. The LS version is out there, and I expect all across the board for all the other drivers. So your QI 10 LS for this year, etc. Your trying to think else, Triple Diamond, etc. for AI Smoke, Callaway are going to be longer than this because this isn't a low spin beast. It's still a beast in my mind, but it's not a low spin beast. So it's never going to get 5, but 4 out of 5. Really happy with that. Stealth 2 that I have in my bag, I gave that 4 out of 5. So very much for your sort of more average golfer, it's definitely up there as one of the longest for your average golfer, in my view anyway. So really good, 4 out of 5. You know, if I'm hitting drives over that 250 mark, if I'm getting close to that 260 and above, you know, out of a few of these that I hit, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 over 260, you know, out of a handful that I've selected for this review, and that's fantastic. You know, really happy with that. So there you go. So 4 out of 5 for distance. And one thing as well, I'd say consistency with this was fantastic. Really consistent with it. Yes, there's a few bad hits, especially off the toe. That is my worst one, right up here, high toe. And when everything goes really, really bad. And yes, I will say it did drop. I mean, I, you know, got 242 on one of them. So the forgiveness did drop a little bit, but it stayed straight. Exactly the normal shape shot for me. A high draw when that came out actually is perfect. You know, if I can hit there and I might be 10 yards, maybe, you know, 15 yards, maybe shorter than what I would be, but I'm on the fairway, I'm never going to complain about that. All right, means that I'm hitting into the green rather than say a pitching wedge, I might be hitting a 9-9. Yes, no, not complaining about that. So really happy with it. And on the course as well, you know, I've hit the same shot again. I think the other day, actually this weekend in the competition, I did hit that shot, unfortunately. And, you know, I was only 5 yards in that case, shorter than when I would expect myself to be on that hole. So really happy with it. So there you go. So distance, really good, 4 out of 5. And it's very consistent. Well, for me anyway, as well. So happy with it. Going on to feel. Feel, I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5. I really love the feel of this. I've always loved Cobra clubs, actually trying them. I've already really liked the feel, but it feels soft, but yet responsive, which is amazing. You know, I always much prefer those softer feeling clubs. I like to feel that response though still, and obviously to still feel like it's powerful, and it really does. You know, it really does feel like that. So 4.5 out of 5. Very happy with this feel, and it's definitely one of the better feeling clubs that I've felt for a while. Driver wise, I will say I've done a few Mizuno's, and I think Mizuno's probably still for me top over this Cobra, but it definitely feels better than my Stealth 2 and that carbon face that the Stealth 2 has. Personally, for me anyway, I think it feels really great. Going on to looks, I not just for the actual club itself, but the whole thing about it. I'm sorry, not the head, sorry, but the whole thing about it. I'm going to give this 5 out of 5. I think it's absolute gorgeous. I love the black. I love the shape. I love the simplicity on the top there, and also the fact it's matte. The sun is shining in here right now, and you cannot see a reflection on anything, which I much prefer than last year, where they were showing where it was all reflective and horrible, and you're looking down and you can see your face or see the clouds up above the skies, which I find quite, well, it distracts me quite a bit, to be fair. To have that matte there, you can still see a bit of carbon coming through, but it's just a gorgeous club. And the way, you know, this is the X. I've got a shaft in here as well, which is the UST one of the stock ones, which I really like, the LING shaft. Again, it's black and blue. Black and blue. And then you have the head cover as well for this, which is just absolutely, just dropped the golf ball off my table there. But here you go. Nearly dropped that again. But here you go. Look at this. It is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. And it's soft inside. It just feels really, really premium, which is quite surprising when we get on to the next point. So, which is price, by the way. But looks wise, 5 out of 5. I think this is absolutely gorgeous and one of the best drivers I think that's been released this year, look wise. It's just also the shape, you know, the QI 10. I don't really like the bottom of it. I think it looks a bit weird. They've extended it for forgiveness, so I'm not a huge fan of that. Moving on to price now. So obviously, if you watch this channel, a lot of the reviews are second-hand deals, or older clubs you can still buy brand new, but are an absolute steal. With like this, the odd new one in here. So price-wise, though, for this, I'm looking at the new market. So normally, when I'm doing price on a lot of the reviews, I'm looking at the second-hand market. But here, and obviously sales, etc., in stores. But here, it's very much the brand new price. And brand new for this, I've given it 4 out of 5. And the reason is this. So in the UK, this is £429 brand new. So go and get yourself fitted or pick up stock or whatever you want, you know, and you can pick this up for £429. Yes, all right, on eBay, you'll probably find a few of them cheaper now because they've been on sale, or not on sale, sorry, but somebody might have tried them already and not liked it and they're selling it. Or I think, some of these secondhand stores might pick some up and then they'll sell them a little bit cheaper than the main brand stores. But anyway, £429 brand new. So in US, this retails at the moment for $549. And over here in the UK, if you're looking at a Ping G430 Max 10K, brand new out this year, you're looking at £549. So over 110, well, 120, 120 pounds, sorry, £120 more for the Ping than this. You're looking at the Callaway AI Smoke or the QI10, so just the standard ones, again, which would be the sort of competitors to this. You're looking at £499 for each of those. So there, you're looking at £71 more. So that's why I've given it a 4 out of 5, because it's just cheaper than the bigger brands and it's coming in that bracket below, which is fantastic because, it really does show that Cobra can produce some great things. And this, believe me, is a really high quality head cover here at a lower price. And that's why I've given it a 4 out of 5, because I think if you want to go in the brand new market, I've always said secondhand, especially when it comes down to drivers, technology change hasn't been huge over the years. I think at one point as well, I do have the LTDX and I do have the Aerojet. I will put them all against each other to see which one comes out on top in the future, probably in the summer, I can imagine, when I have some time, because I've got a lot of reviews to do at the moment, but I will do that at some point. It'll be interesting to find the results there. But, if you want to go brand new because you want to get fitted, or you just like something brand new and shiny in the bag that no one else has used, then for me, it's 4 out of 5. It is one of the better options out there, personally, when it comes down to price point. You could put that £70 that you're saving over the TaylorMade QI and go and get yourself a lesson, So great there, really great. And on to forgiveness finally. Even though they haven't really pushed the forgiveness in this club, they've mentioned it, obviously, they are trying to improve it, but it's more about speed and distance. I still think the forgiveness in this is absolutely great. I'm not losing any balls off the fairway and sort of wild swings where it's going all over the place. It's very consistent. Yes, I did mention that, okay, every now and again it might drop off a little bit if it's a really bad hit, but the forgiveness for me, because it's still on the fairway, is great. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 here. Don't get me wrong, it's not one of these 10k drivers, which is going to be 5 out of 5, if you've got 10k MOI. But overall, I think for what it is, and having that weight at the back, it's a 4 out of 5. If you put that weight at the front, then you're going to lose a bit of that forgiveness because the MOI is going to change a little bit. And then you're sort of probably looking at about 3.5, maybe 3. But at the back, with the weight at the back, so it's most forgiving, I'm giving it 4 out of 5 because I do think the forgiveness is great. I mean, I don't think I've missed a fairway yet with this, which says everything. As long as you're on that fairway, even if it's 5 yards shorter, 10 yards shorter, you're on the fairway. You're not losing a shot chipping out or trying to find a ball or having to take a drop, etc. So really good forgiveness. And so there you go. And that's one of the main reasons, to be fair, why it's in the bag, because I am getting on with it so well. It is so consistent and it's just a joy to hit. So overall, the Cobra Darkspeed X, absolutely fantastic driver. I mean, I think this might be one of the first I've ever done where everything's been 4 and above, to be fair, on the ACS Golf scale, definitely in drivers anyway, which really does show that it really is a fantastic driver and definitely worth a try if you are looking for a brand new driver in the market. If you're not, and you want to, get a second-hand one or something like that, I would probably go for this. To be fair, I'd probably go for this over the Aerojet. That's a Cobra LTDX, which I think is a fantastic driver. Okay guys, now I hope you enjoyed this video. Do remember to give this video a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, so you don't miss out on all the great reviews and, well, extra videos as well that I have coming up. And do comment down below, have you tried the Darkspeed? Have you tried other Cobra drivers? Let me know what you think. Because at the moment, this is in my bag and I cannot see it coming out. It's definitely more consistent for me than my Stealth 2. Stealth 2 might be a little bit longer, to be fair, if I'm honest with myself, but it's finding me more fairways, and overall, that for me is more important. Okay guys, I'll see you soon for the next ACS Golf review. See you then.